Hey friends, I'm so excited for today's episode. Today, I'm showing you one of my two must-have softwares for managing money in my business and in the businesses of all the clients that I've worked with. It's QuickBooks Online, and it's seriously my favorite. I love that it's built for both accountants and business owners. Yes, it takes a hot minute to figure out how it works. Most software does, but I think it's very intuitive. And once you get it, it's a game changer for you to keep your books together. My favorite feature is the live bank feeds. This makes sure you don't miss out on any expenses in your business. It's so easy to do when you're just using a spreadsheet to keep track of things. Okay, so we're going to dive in. I'm going to switch over to QuickBooks itself so you can see all the things we can do. Okay, so this is a demo account in QuickBooks. When you log in, this is typically the screen that you'll see. You've got your menu on the left-hand side here that'll take you through some different options I'll show you in a moment. You get your business name and just some quick, snapshots of what's going on in the various areas of your business. So I'm just going to run through the menu here to start out. You've got, your dashboard, and you can get in just this main dashboard area, or you can see some different cash flow metrics in your business. The one where you'll spend probably the most time is in the transactions section here, where you've got your bank transactions. So these are your business bank accounts that have been connected in here, and it imports every single transaction. So just like if you would log into your bank account on your online banking, all the transactions that are in there are also in here. So you can connect up as many accounts as you need. This one is showing, a credit card as well as a checking account. I've got PayPal accounts linked up to different clients as well as lines of credit, things like that. So you can cook up any kind of account that QuickBooks will recognize. Your bank, your credit cards, PayPal, lines of credit, loan accounts sometimes if they have connections. So you can bring all of those different items in here so you can get a real-time view of what's going in and out of your account. There are two different balances that it'll show on here. One is the bank balance, that this is being pulled directly from your bank. And the one on the bottom here is the balance that QuickBooks shows that you've got. So these balances should, in theory, be the same, but you can see there's a bunch of transactions that haven't been added to QuickBooks. So that's why there could be a bit of an imbalance in it. So that's the transactions. The other sections that we use a lot, this is your chart of accounts. So your chart of accounts is all the different categories that we put money into. So whether it's a balance sheet account or an income statement account, they're all listed on here. You can lay out different properties for them. You can see which ones are connected to a bank account or bank feed. And you can create new accounts. I personally have a standard chart of accounts that I use with all of my clients in my bookkeeping practice. The other one that I use a lot when you're managing your books is the reconcile section. And this is where you will reconcile what is in QuickBooks against an actual bank statement. So you'd put in the ending balance and go through the process of just ensuring that all the costs that you've put into that bank account should legitimately be there. Next is the sales section. You can add in all of your customers, detail out your products and services in here, and then of course see and create invoices that you can send out to all of your clients. If you have something like Shopify or Square or any kind of POS for that matter, you can get different apps that will connect the QuickBooks and your POS system to each other and will auto import all of those things. This can be great in theory. However, if you don't set up those connections properly, it can make for a big disaster. I've seen it. I've had to clean it. It's not fun. So my advice would be to maybe get some help to get those connected and set up in the first place, and then they can be run with ease. For a lot of my clients, I just enter their sales as monthly reports. So I don't worry about entering every individual transaction, just as monthly summary. So you can choose how you do it. The other section, so that's your sales. The other section that you have is your expenses. You can add in bills and suppliers. So if you've got different vendors that you use consistently, always create those vendors in here. You can set up all sorts of details for them, payment information, all that kind of stuff. And then you'll be able to see what bills you have open, what still needs to be paid, all that sort of fun stuff. Different sections here. The other ones that I use most often is the reports. So you can pull at a drop of a hat any report that you need, whether for your own information or to send out to others. There are other sections in here that you may need at some point in your business development. You maybe need payroll projects, or if you want to use budgeting features within here, all different areas you can explore. The sales tax module is one of the coolest things that QuickBooks does, in which it will track throughout the year, quarter, month, whatever your reporting requirements are, the taxes or GST that you need to remit to CRA or whatever tax agency that you're working with, if you have provincial, state, whatever it may be. And so this will keep track as long as when you're entering it within your sales and expenses, it will automatically get tracked in here, and you can easily run reports to prepare your return and get it filed with the appropriate tax agency. It makes things so much easier. So that's just kind of a quick overview of the layout and how you kind of can find different things. There are a few kind of quick and easy buttons that you can use. This giant plus new thing here will allow you to create new invoices, statements, sales receipts, expenses, bills, whatever it may be. So you can click on any of these items to create kind of these new entries in here. And all of your settings are over in the gear icon over here. So there's accounts and settings and users. You can add in as many users as you need, depending on the plan that you've got. The other great thing is there are a ton of tutorials. So you can always go into the help menu and type in what you're looking for. Because I'm on the sales tax page, it's bringing up some different, the first thing in here is about sales tax. So, but you can search through and ask it anything to help you figure out how to do something within QuickBooks. So when you're first getting started with QuickBooks, it can seem a little intimidating and overwhelming. When you first start up an account, the chart of accounts isn't fully set up. The bank accounts aren't linked and stuff like that, but it is super easy to get started. So when I first start working with a client, I will go through and start at the chart of accounts. So that's the first thing I set up, making sure that I've got all the accounts that I could possibly need. I do a lot of things that, type A's like me do, and I number everything and I put them in my categories and all that sort of stuff. So if you want my go-to chart of accounts to get you started, reach out. I'll drop a link in the description below so you can get my little cheat sheet of what I use. So that's where I'll start. I'll start with creating that chart of accounts. And then once that's created, then I will go to the bank transactions area. And that's where I'll start adding in the bank accounts and the credit cards that I'll need to connect up. So this one's super easy as well. You can just click the link account button and then you search for your bank and then go through the process of basically it's like you're signing into your bank. You usually have different things like, your two-factor authentication. So you might get codes texted to you. You might have security questions that you need to answer. You might need to approve things on your app. So watch for that as you're going through that initial setup process. One thing I will say is that if you have two-factor authentication set up on your bank accounts, which of course is a good thing, unfortunately with things like QuickBooks, when those links are connected, every time you come in there, more than likely it's going to be disconnected and you're going to have to reconnect it using whatever two-factor method you've got. The other thing to keep in mind too, QuickBooks is going to continually try to relog and update the bank feeds. So you may get those two-factor notices or, trying to log into your account, approve on your mobile device. Like you might get those notifications at very weird hours. It's probably QuickBooks trying to get in. Always though, take a hot minute and go double check to make sure it's not, some hacker trying to get in. Okay, so that's kind of how you basically get started, is going through setting up that chart of accounts, getting your bank accounts connected. And when you first get in here, if you do have to collect sales tax for whatever area you're in, you will need to go and set up those taxes in the tax module. So you just basically add a new tax, go through the process of creating, whether it's for province, state, or federal. So that's kind of some of your initial setup. And then as you're working in and with QuickBooks, your suppliers and customers will just get it naturally added in at the time. If you have an existing business and an existing customer base, there are ways to import your existing customers and suppliers into QuickBooks. If you click on this import data, you can get standard templates for how to upload your data. And then you can use that to fill in the spreadsheet and then upload it back into QuickBooks. And all that information will easily be put in there for you. Okay, what else? So I've showed you how to access all the help and tutorials available. If ever there's something where you're like, okay, this isn't getting to my question, there is a way. If you kind of start asking in here, there will be, if you can't find the answer, there'll be a thing where it'll say, just contact us. And in which case, then you can get either a call back or chat with them online. The chat's really good, actually. But you can also get a call scheduled or get them to call you and get someone on the phone to help you with whatever question you need. So if you're not using something like Shopify or Square to process transactions and stuff, and you actually need to invoice your clients, QuickBooks is a great tool for this. Not only is it slick and easy, but you will always have a full view on who's paid you and who hasn't. Okay, so if you need to create an invoice, I'm going to show you quick just how easy it is. You just click create an invoice. You put in your customer. We're just going to use one that's already in here. Just keep this there. We'll just use this guy here. You can confirm. You can put in their email address here. Let's just put my email address in, their billing address, the terms. So if they have 30 days to pay, or if it's due on receipt, we're going to make this one due on receipt. And the date. And then we can get in here and put in, okay, what are we billing them for? If you have product services already in here, that's great. If you need to create a new one, I would be careful that you don't want to create 1,000 different products or services. Try and keep these in buckets so that it makes sense and it doesn't get all cluttered. But you can also just do something generic like services. And then in the description, put in the detail of what that service actually is. The quantity, if that's relevant. And then, let's say we're charging them $500 and we've got HST being charged to them. This then we can go through, you can see that the dollars that adds up, it automatically calculates the taxes for them. And you can also just put any kind of note to the client that you'd like in here, any special details about payment instructions, whatever you might need. And then when it's ready, you click save and send. It will prepare the email sent to me in this case, and send and close, and off it goes. It's that easy. And then what we can do is when the client pays that money, in theory, should come through our bank accounts. So we'll be able to mark it as paid once we can match up those dollars from the bank feed. If they don't pay, we can also quickly see at the drop of a hat what bills are overdue, and we can send out reminders to any of those. So we can send a reminder, this one's 47 days overdue, so we can send that reminder. So it's a quick and easy way to not only get your invoices out, monitor for their payment, and send reminders where necessary. On the expenses side of things, you can likewise add in any bills that you need to pay and all this sort of thing. If we go into, actually, let's just go this way and we'll create a new bill. So for any bill that we need to make, we're going to invoice this guy. If they've sent us like a paper bill, we can add Remember I talked about digitizing a few weeks ago. We can add the digital copy of the bill onto here. So it's all in one place, which is a great idea so that you don't have to go searching into your folders. It's everything's in here. It's fabulous. And then we'll go through and categorize. So let's say that this was a subscription cost for 200, and we'll put taxes on it as well. So we can go through, add, if we want to put a description in, this is just for our purposes. So if we wanted to remember what this was for, let's say it was a new CRM, and there we go. So then we would save and close, and then we would have that reminder that this open bill here needs to get paid. At any point in time, we can go into our reports and see our AR report, which is accounts receivable. And this means it's invoices that are unpaid, like money that we're owed. So this is the invoice that I created, and it just gives us that running list of, okay, here's who still owes you money. On the flip side, for the bills that we owe to other people, we can likewise pull a report of our accounts payable, which is the money that we owe to other people. So there's different quick reports that we can pull so that we can always see what's going on. The other reports that you'll more often use will be your profit and loss report or your income statement. This one shows you your income and expenses and your current running profit. You can change the date for this, whether it's, the year to date, or if you just want to see the month, we can run that report too. The other one that you'll use often is your balance sheet. And again, this shows kind of our running list of assets, liabilities, and equities. So that's a quick overview of QuickBooks. They are a 100% cloud-based software. So like all software these days, it's a monthly subscription service. But with that, you're able to access your data anywhere, whether you're on your computer or on your phone. They do have a mobile app that you can do a lot of the functionality on. And this allows you to kind of do invoices on the go and always be checking to see what your bank account is at, because that's usually the number one thing that we always are concerned about. So who is QuickBooks for? Honestly, anyone. If you want to eliminate kind of the manual entries and spreadsheets, or be 100% sure you don't miss any expenses, have easy reporting, send invoices quickly and see who owes you, track your bills and who you owe, or seamlessly work with accountants or tax preparers, QuickBooks is kind of your go-to. Now, who isn't this for? Well, here's the thing. If the cost is going to cause you financial stress, it's probably not for you. My general rule is that if you're a sole proprietor, meaning that you operate under a trade name, but legally it's still you, then you actually have a choice of using an accounting system like QuickBooks. If your business is registered as a corporation, though, the reporting requirements are much higher. And in my humble opinion, you don't have a choice. You need an accounting system. Okay, so assume you're a sole prop and have a choice. I'd think about the monthly subscription costs and the complexity of the ins and outs of your business. If you've got one business account that you do all your deposits and expenses to, and maybe have a POS like Square, Shopify tracking all your sales, then you can likely get away with a spreadsheet or my other favorite software, Dext. I'll be doing a whole episode on Dext in a few weeks. So check the description for the link to that one once it's released. But if things are a bit more complicated than that, or if you're on a trajectory of growth and you want to be more complicated than that, then maybe getting started with QuickBooks from the beginning will be your best bet. So remember, if you're a sole prop, you get a choice. If you're a corporation, in my opinion, you don't have a choice. You need to get something like this. All right, friends. That's it for this episode. If you want to try QuickBooks Online for yourself, I've dropped a link for you to head over and check it out. They've got free trials and 80% off your first 6 months. So why not give it a go? And if you have any questions about QuickBooks Online and if it's right for you, comment below or send me a message on our website. You can find the link to it below too. Thanks for watching and see you next week.